Hi gang, quick little screencast video to walk you through the process of working with index color and moving your color tab sheet from RGB to index color, and then how to set up your file in index color. So what I wanted you to do is to redo your master color tab sheet, your 1 by 10 inch PSD file. You need to start from scratch. I want you to make it nice and clean. I want you to make sure you have nice white gaps that are clean white gaps between each color. So when you are creating your shapes, your rectangle tabs, you have anti-alias off. You have no feather on any of your marquee tools, and you simply use the technique we were doing last week by moving it over until you fill out the entire 10-inch width file with 13 different tabs of color. Now, what's also different is we're going to start from scratch with a very simple basic color system. So as you can see here, from left to right, mine begins with dark blue and then has 2 tones of blue. Then I'm going to go to a green, and I have 2 tones of green. Then I have your basic red and 2 tones of reds and pinks. And then I have some neutrals. I have a kind of a burnt sienna and a lighter color brown, kind of a medium brown, and then I've got this gray brown and a very grayish beige. Those are my 13 colors. They have a system to them, meaning that they're going from a darker value to a lighter value, and they're kind of organized by the color spectrum. So now we're going to actually put this file into index color. And what you do is you take your cursor, you go up to Photoshop, up to the top menu, you're going to go to Image, you're going to go down to, just to Mode, which is the first choice, and you're going to scroll down to Index Color, which is the choice right above RGB color. And you're going to release your cursor. When you release your cursor, you get the index color window. Now, honestly, this window sometimes looks different depending on what you might have been working on before. So for instance, I was obviously working with a 3-color indexed file, and it just retains that. It says it was previous. So we want to wipe that out, and to do that, we need to click the preview on, and then the preview off, I believe. And from previous, we're clicking on previous, and we're going up to custom. Now at this point, there's only 3 colors in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this color table window reflects exactly what's in our tabs. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that first square, which in this case is white, and then click on our first square to the left is that dark blue, and we're going to say OK. And we're going to do this all the way through. So I'm selecting the second tab in the color table, or the second square. I'm clicking with my cursor, which becomes the eyedropper tool, to that medium blue. I'm going to say OK. I'm clicking the third square to the lighter blue. I'm going to say OK. And I'm just going to continue all the way through, so that whatever I see here reflects what I have in my color tab strip. So do it carefully. Don't pretend you have to do this quickly. This is important. It's pretty simple, but it's just a little process. Look at what you're doing. Look at the colors. Get a sense of what your system is. I'm now going to go to the browns. And I've got the last is that beige color. And now I've filled up my color table to look exactly like my color tab sheet. And I have 3 extra empty squares to the right, which fills out that whole first row. So what you can do is you can actually take your cursor, click on click and drag across to get all 3 of those squares. And we're just going to pick a color. It brings up the color picker. So pick a color that you're not going to get confused with what you already have in your layout. So for instance, I think I'm going to pick a really acid yellow. And when you drag across 3 squares at once in the color table, it allows you to kind of plunk them all in at once by just hitting the OK button. So I'm going to say OK, OK, and they're all there. Now you're going to go to the second row on the left-hand side, and when you click on that, it defaults to black, but we're going to go up and make it be 100% white, which you should get used to looking this. If you look down here where there's the hashtag, that means it's the hex number, and white is only FFFFFF. That's 6 F's, by the way. And you say OK. And then the next square next to it, you're going to click on black, which is already going in there already, and you're going to say OK. And now you are going to say OK. And now we're going to say OK. And notice that now we have 18 colors in there. So that's the 13 we have. The 3 placeholders, which is that acid green, we can change those whenever we want to. And the black and the white on the second row. So I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to save my color tab as the indexed version, which is really the most important one. So I always put INDEX, and I save it with my color tabs, and I'm going to say OK. And we're going to continue now to load other palettes, other color systems into this color tab. And we'll do that in the next video. All right.